welcome. Thanks, Michael. So warm welcome to the Mindful CIO Roundtable #1. The theme for today is we bring humanity to the IT industry. So I'm excited because the purpose of this community is really to find ways, explore ways to make the Mindful CIO Manifesto a reality. And today we're taking a very, very first step towards that. So let's get started. So first of all, I wanted to do acknowledgement of country. So on behalf of the Mindful CIO team, in the spirit of reconciliation, the Mindful CIO founder, myself, contributors and champions, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and the connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respect to the elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend the respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. So I can see that some of you already updated your first name and your town where you're based today, which is great. If you can, please do keep your video on. You're most welcome to ask questions anytime. Michael Lambert will be having a look and we'll have time before the interview to address those questions. You'll be muted, but you're most welcome to put your hand up, unmute yourself if you have a burning comment to make or sharing. And we'll be launching polls and Menti to, especially now at the start, to make the session really interactive. And as you know, the event is being recorded. So this is the plan, is the plan, the agenda for today. We start with a little bit of the background story of the Mindful CIO, the Mindful CIO Manifesto. Then I'll hand over to Michael and he will walk us through the purpose, vision, mission, and values that we're just refining actually as we speak. Then I'll have an interview with our guest speaker, who is Zach Scott from System AI. Then we'll move into the breakout room discussions. That's where you will have the chance to meet with your peers and exchange your experience and insights, and hopefully get a lot of value from today. Then we'll come back to the larger group. We'll do a debrief. If I don't forget, we'll have a top prize, and then we'll close, aiming to close at 8:30 sharp. Then if you still have some energy left after all of these, you're most welcome to stick with us, and we'll have a little bit of informal networking. So having said that, I'd like to kick off with a little Menti activity. For those familiar with Menti, you can use your phone to jump into menti.com, and you can use that code you can see on the screen. I think Michael will also be sharing he did already, so you can alternatively just click on the link that you can see in the chat box and just answer the question of what mindful leadership means to you. So what mindful leadership means to you. So this is the Mindful CIO community. So what mindful leadership means to you. We're curious, looking forward to hear from you. So I'll give you a few moments. And because Menti can be a bit slow, perhaps you need a bit of time to think. So I'll keep silence for a little while. Oh, okay, here we go. Michael, you had a point. It's just a matter of clicking, actually. So, okay, let's wait a bit more. This is still coming through. Sounds like respect is a big one. Empathy and respect. Yay. Happy to see presence over there as well. Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Sounds like it's a bit more stable, so I'm assuming that now it's still going. Excellent. I think, no, still more input. Okay. Cool. All right. So, yeah, looks like respect followed by empathy and presence are the big ones. A bit of a common theme for most of you. Can also see consideration, human-centered, self-awareness, leading by example. I love the one. Thoughtfulness, compassion. Happy to see compassion there. Wise compassion, especially. Awareness of the present, fulfillment, emotional intelligence, patience. So important. Integrity, diversity, coach, you know, being a coach, lead as a coach, being present, calm, valued, resilience, support, authentic, aware, present, believe in your team, true, inclusiveness, focus and energy. And I think I know where inclusiveness came from, Jack. Transparency and honesty, lead by example, happiness, caring, inclusion, honesty, strategic and commitment. Wonderful. What a good selection of traits, mindful leadership traits. Agree 100%. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, everyone. I had these two slides just to buy time because the kickoff Menti took a while. Anyway, I'll just fly through those 2 slides. So the first one is just to say thank you for, you know, if you are here, you did purchase the ticket, and 70% of the funds of today events goes to the Black Dog Institute, which is a not-for-profit dedicated to mental health research and education. So last month we raised it $500, and they were pretty happy with our donation. So thank you. No, thanks to you. Purchase the ticket on Eventbrite. And again, a little bit of motivation to stick around until the end of the session. We have a door prize, which is a book that I contributed to the research. The Mind of the Leader was published by Harvard Business Review in 2018. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few slides. So now we have a poll, and I just want to say it's an anonymous poll. So please feel free to, be very, very truthful with your answer here. Not that you wouldn't if it wasn't anonymous, but yeah. So the question is, what is mindfulness? So let me bring that up in a launch. So again, we spoke about mindful leadership. And important to it's hard to define mindful. There are many, many definitions out there, but we have a few options on the screen. So please mark all of the ones that you feel that are true. Hopefully you can see the poll. Yeah, okay, I can see some responses coming through. There's always a person with sense of humor. Okay, 6 more to go. Okay, 3 people pending.
Natalie, this is Peter. I'm not seeing the poll at all on the screen. So.
I think you see the result. You're not seeing the poll at all.
No.
I just got 20, but did you manage to respond? Because I'm closing now.
No, I didn't have a pop-up, so I'm just letting you know. Don't wait for me because I got nothing on the pop-up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just to. I actually ended and just shared the results because we had 21 of 22.
That's fine. I'll go for the hippie one then.
Okay. Okay. Is this Peter? I couldn't. Yes. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so can you see the results now, guys? Can anyone tell me if you can see the results now on the screen?
I'm looking forward to the rousing rendition of Kumbaya at the end of this from the 3 people who voted that way.
So it's just Michael, because Michael is a co-host. Can anyone tell me if you can see
Yes.
the results? Perfect.
Yes.
I can see.
Thank you.
Yes, we can see it.
Lovely, thank you. So there are always people with no sense of humor, and I had that option there available for you guys. But I'm pleased to see that the majority, can see mindfulness as a practice to develop presence, focus, attention, which is now quality that we need more than ever in this digital age. So thanks everyone for engaging with that, and we'll move on. So it's good to see that we are on the same page. And here's a definition. I said our main definition of mindfulness out there. Although mindfulness became more mainstream the last few years, there's a lot of still misunderstanding, unfortunately. So this is a definition from Harvard Business Review. If you completed the quiz that I shared on the event page, I think last week, you probably came across this definition. And I think it's a credible issue coming from HBR. And I think the key components that they are talking about is focus and awareness, and not just awareness of what's happening within us, our thoughts and feelings and emotions, but more importantly, awareness of what's happening in our surroundings. So focus and awareness. And the stat there, 47% of the time, according to research, 47% of the time, in average, most of us are distracted. So our minds are not in the present moment with the people and the tasks that we're performing. And you can imagine the impact it has to our well-being and to our performance as well. So that's a little bit on mindfulness. I won't talk too much here, but for those who I haven't met yet, my background, so I worked for over 15 years in the tech space. Started as a programmer, so I did some coding in ABAP back in the days, and moved all the way to business analyst and SAP. My last couple of roles were in data analytics and business intelligence with a large utilities company in Australia. So worked across several industries, both in Brazil, where I'm originally from, as well as here in Australia. And the more senior I became over the years, the less passionate I became about systems and processes, which was my thing initially, and I became more interested in human behavior and people in general. So that led me to leave tech. So left my IT career behind about 6 years ago, and started a brand new career in coaching and training and leadership development. So some of the companies you can see on the screen, some of those I worked for them, like Accenture, EY, Ernst & Young, and others were my clients, both in IT capacity, when I was working in tech, or in the leadership development capacity. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there. And in 2016, I flew to Sydney to attend the Mindful Leadership Forum, and there I met Peter Boltzmann, the bald guy on the left side. He's now the Chief Mindfulness Officer for SAP, and I was very pleased to learn that back then already he had over 5,000 people in their waiting list to attend mindfulness program that he designed. So I was very surprised, but very happy to know, because I knew about the benefits of mindfulness for my own well-being in my own career. And SAP is not alone, so Cisco and Microsoft had similar initiatives since then as well. So bottom line here is that mindfulness has been embraced by many large tech giants and other blue chip organizations. So finally, getting to the Mindful CIO Manifesto, right? The background story. So my experience in running leadership programs based on mindfulness, meeting Peter Boltzmann, and all the experiences led me to put my thoughts on paper and write the Mindful CIO Manifesto. So I was seeing these organizations and leaders, upgrading their mindset, making significant shifts and having real benefits. And in my heart, I knew that the tech industry needed probably more than any other industry. So the manifesto that I wrote in 2018 was kind of my aspiration to how the IT industry will look like if we actually embraced mindfulness in action in our interactions with people, in how we select, projects to work on, and so on. So, this manifesto was a result of that reflection. And I was a bit nervous about the content because I thought it was a bit controversial, but we had a decent engagement on LinkedIn. Lots of people shared and had positive feedback on the manifesto. And I think I touched on the why mindfulness is so critical now more than ever, especially after 2020, and why those organizations are embracing mindfulness. There are many reasons, but two reasons that I can briefly talk about. Number one, it's because of the pressure, the information overload, the distractions, and the addiction to devices that we are all experiencing right now. So that's the reality of our environment, right? So regardless of your geography, size of your company, you under the pump, you are being distracted with information overload. And so that's reason number one. And reason number two, it's because, as HBR statement mentioned, our mind, when not trained, it's highly distracted. And we have a lot of clutter going on, and that leads to a negative impact on our performance and well-being. So that's the why behind the manifesto, and the why encouraging mindfulness in the tech industry. So I hope that makes sense. And I move on to talk about our team. So you can see on the screen, you've probably seen Michael. Okay. Okay, had a little bit of echo. Hopefully that's gone. So I'll be handing over to Michael in the next slide shortly. Jeff Murray, for those who attended the kickoff, met him. He now stepped up into the CIO role for Swinburne. So he is an apologist today, but he's being a great contributor to the Manifesto 2.0 that we are working on. Michael is our most enthusiastic, committed, devoted contributor. Peter Olowski, who is the community manager for CIONet, it's a key influencer for actually allowing the mindful CIO community to be born, as well as Alastair, who is also here today. So, by the way, if you're not familiar with CIONet, they are a global organization, fantastic network to be part of if you're a tech leader, and their scope is much bigger. They talk about topics that are relevant for CIOs and senior tech leaders in a very broad sense. For us here in the Mindful CIO, our focus is really around people leadership, and how to make, IT industry more human. But Peter is one of our champions, as you can see, and a great supporter as well. So great to have you here, Peter. And as you can see there, the Mindful CIO is driven by volunteers. So now I'll take a little break, take a breath, and I'll hand over to Michael. Thanks, Michael. Over to you.
Thanks, Nat. So I first encountered the Mindful CIO, I think it was on the 19th of May this year, when the manifesto was presented at the Mindful Digital Leader by CIONet. We received some feedback was provided after that event that the manifesto could do with a little bit of a refresh. And so myself, Jeff Murray and Nat got together and we started working on a version 2 of it. As part of that, we initially started working through just revising the language in it. And we formed a working group on an ad hoc advisory panel, I guess is the better term for it, on the 8th of September, and went through the changes we'd made. And we redefined the purpose of it a little bit and said we should perhaps, rather than just fine-tuning it, rewrite it. So we decided that we needed to make it a bit simpler to understand, more memorable, but also more timeless. As part of that, we worked through and defined a a purpose, a vision, and values for the Mindful CIO. As we're working through now, or sorry, I should say, I'll introduce those in a second, and they haven't been mentioned to the public yet, so we'll get to them in we'll get to it now. So the purpose is to improve the lives of people working in IT by upgrading the organisation and leaders' capabilities. So by defining that, we're really setting a direction for us as a community to try and strive for. Our vision is a world in which IT leaders, teams, and individuals are inclusive and operate at a sustainable pace while still delivering valuable outcomes. So we thought it was really important there to make sure that we still highlight the importance of the outcomes, but the focus on teams and individuals is also extremely important. So we're looking for a world in which that's possible. We can go to the next slide. So through that, we then came up with the mission, which is to promote the values of the Mindful CIO Manifesto through community engagement, building, and education to improve the skills and capabilities of both current and emerging IT leaders. So that's including events such as this. We're looking at other ways to better engage the community and also what education can be provided as part of that. So that leads us into the values that we've got in the manifesto, which is the values of a mindful CIO are diversity, humanity, and sustainability. A value of healthy culture, valuing human skills over technical prowess. Very important there. We're not negating technical prowess. We're just saying that the human skills are a more important part. And also focus and presence with people and tasks. So making sure that we give people all of our attention and that we're not busy multitasking and chasing the latest shiny object. And go to the next one. And so that's then fed directly into the revised manifesto. And this is significantly smaller than what we've currently got on the website. So we're very much open to feedback on this. The manifesto is, we seek to improve the lives of people working in IT by actively promoting a healthy culture, diversity, humanity, and sustainability, human skills over technical prowess, and focus and presence with people and tasks. We understand that embracing these values will not only impact the individuals, but will ensure the business can consistently deliver valuable outcomes at a sustainable pace. So that's our proposal for the new manifesto. We're still very much open to receiving any feedback on it, other people having input. So if you're interested in getting involved in the working group or the advisory panel side of things, then please feel free to hang around at the end of the event and let us know.
Just realized I was on mute. Thanks so much, Michael. And yeah, so Michael has been essential really in this process of rewriting the manifesto. I confess that in the beginning I was a bit nervous because I'm quite attached to how it looks like at the moment, but I think we're doing a good job in making it more memorable, and with the principles, the underlying principles, we'll still have the essence of the message, which I think many of you, I believe, relate. Now that's the reason why I believe you assume that you are here. So we'll make our best to make it memorable but still meaningful. And as Michael said, we are definitely open to collaboration. So yeah, we'll share the email, the details. So whoever is keen to give us a hand, very welcome.